Good evening and welcome to Face to Face. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Narendra. Well, Sri Lanka's tourism industry last year set a record for the number of foreign tourists who visited Sri Lanka, and that was good news, definitely. But the amount of revenue that they brought in had a few people grumbling. We'd like tourists who would spend a little bit more. Now that will happen over time, of course, as Sri Lanka becomes more and more recognized as a destination, but we need to spur this process on, and that means we need to market ourselves in the niche market tourism areas. And I have with me this evening a gentleman who has specialized in just that, and he is, I would call him an expert in the promotion of wellness tourism, health and wellness. He is Mr. Narendra Panjwani, who is the founder and publisher of Global Health Asia Pacific magazine. Welcome and good evening to you, Narendra.
Thank you very much for having me on the show. I'm looking forward and thank you so much.
Right. Now, in Sri Lanka, we have had health and wellness tourism for quite some time. Ayurvedic resorts, even our usual normal hotels, they have some form of Ayurveda quite frequently. But we don't seem to have quite tapped into this global niche market. How do we get into that? Could you tell us something about health and wellness tourism in the world, especially in Asia?
Absolutely. I think I'll first answer your first question is why has Sri Lanka not got to that stage where it is recognized as the wellness capital of Asia? I think it has all the ingredients, it has all the firepower, the muscle to be known as the wellness capital of Asia. But unfortunately, and I would very strongly advocate that the wellness players in the country need to reach out. If you don't reach out to the world and tell them that this is what we are, this is what we are doing, and you don't promote yourself, the world will not know that you are a great country, and that's in that aspect. And when I came into this country, actually after Navaloka Hospital participated in one of my events in Bangkok at the Global Health Asia Pacific Awards, and they won an award for AI Hospital of the Year. And we had a very stringent jury who voted for them and gave them that honor. After which I was invited by Dr. Jaya and Renji, and they said, Narendra, come and have a look at our country. I came in and my first impression was like, my God, it's cleaner than Bombay or Delhi. That was like amazing. Second thing, I saw that, wow, this is a very safe country. I mean, I could walk around anywhere and everywhere without even worrying or without looking at my back, which I don't think I could say that of some of the countries that I visited, not just in India, but outside of India. And that was very heartening. But then I went around, met Navaloka, saw the hospital, went around, met a couple of other hospitals, Dundan's, Lanka Hospital, Asiri. I met a couple of clinics like Dr. Surya and then Shanaya from Crystal, and I was like, God, you guys have everything. I looked at all the machinery that was sold by one of the medical equipment suppliers, Renji, over here to Navaloka. I look at the machines and they're like latest. I mean, you have everything here. You have doctors who have studied abroad, qualified abroad, and who are now here. You have the best doctors. You have the best machinery here. You have everything going for you, but why are you not getting it? It's because you're not telling the world what you are. you know. And I would really, it's a leap of faith from Navaloka to come in and then advertise to be, they took a proper 4-page supplement in the magazine to highlight all their services to the world. And when I say to the world, because I'm very proud that we are the only health magazine in the world that is available on Singapore Airlines, Cathay Pacific, Air India, Vietnam Airlines, Qatar Airways, Emirates, and British Airways. We have 14 million eyeballs over there. Apart from that, we are the only magazine that now works exclusively with OCBC Bank in Indonesia and Akleda Bank in Cambodia. That gives us additional 3.5 million eyeballs. And not just eyeballs with the banks, direct access. So I'll explain you more on that later. I'll come to it. But we actually reach out to 3.5 million bank customers direct on a one-on-one basis, telling them about the world. If you look around, Malaysia has been a pioneer in terms of medical tourism, the effort, the work that they're doing, the spending that they're doing. And today, it's no surprise that when you talk about medical tourism, you talk about Malaysia. When you talk about who has Singapore lost their medical tourism to, they have lost it to Malaysia. And simply because Singapore became very expensive, the government couldn't care in terms of putting or fixing the prices. They tried to do that with insurance companies. But Malaysia has taken a march. And I think Sri Lanka needs to be doing that. And which is why I'm here. So that's where I came in. I spoke to these hospitals. At my aesthetic awards, I brought in a couple of clinics who came down who actually won the gold award. And they marketed themselves over here. And I said, no, this is just the beginning. So what we are now doing is, which I have done that in Cambodia, raised the healthcare standards in Cambodia, did Cambodia Awards in 2022. And in 25, we did the Indonesia Awards, where we bring in only the awardees. The winners are absolutely on zero cost. They come in. If they deserve to be applauded or patted on their back, we will do that. We have, as I said, we have a stringent jury. And those awards were only for the country. So at an Indonesia award evening, only the winners will be only the Indonesian hospitals or the Indonesian aesthetics or wellness or the medical centers. So we are doing that now to Sri Lanka. We are having a Sri Lanka summit, conference and awards on May 19th and 20th of this year, wherein we intend to bring over 100 hospitals, aesthetic clinics, medical centers and wellness centers. And when I talk about wellness centers, I do not define it only as the 5-star wellness centers who are more of a spa, and being a spa and are trying to offer other services. They also say we do some of the wellness stuff and all of that, but I'm talking about pure resort. I'm talking about pure wellness, which is where Bali tried extremely hard. Phuket has tried hard. Phuket has succeeded to some extent. Bali has great wellness resorts. They have advertised, and I mean, if you look at look at Instagram on a daily basis, or you look at any of the social media, you will see a lot of promotions coming in from Bali, and to position itself as the wellness capital of Asia. But they are getting a beating because what has happened is there has been a lot of tourism that is not giving them a great name. Those tourists are not coming really for wellness. Those tourists are coming in for everything else but wellness. And Bali did not want that. And it's kind of putting a bit of a blot on their good work that they are doing. And this is where I see Sri Lanka has this massive opportunity. You got a beautiful city here, Colombo. Outside of Colombo, I mean, you got all these wonderful wellness resorts who are shouting. And when you look at their pictures, when you look at their websites, they are far better than a lot of countries, a lot of cities who are priding themselves to be the wellness places to go to. Whether you talk of Bali or Phuket, or you look at anything in even Goa or Kerala, Sri Lanka gives you the best of everything. You got Ayurveda, you got pure wellness resort. If somebody wants to come here and just relax and do nothing, you got beautiful resorts. You can just go lie by the beach, by the pool for 7 days, regenerate, come out. You come back into the city, you got beautiful hotels, extremely competitively priced and extremely affordable. I mean, you got everything going for you. And this is what I want to promote to the world. So my work has started yesterday after the launch. And my goal is to come and spend and meet every single hospital, every single major resort, invite them to the summit conference and awards, where they will be hearing the best speakers from Singapore, Malaysia and Thailand, experts on AI, experts on the innovations, on what is happening in the medical world or what's happening in the aesthetic world. We are definitely going to bring those speakers here in May. And so it is for these hospitals locally, or the medical centers or the wellness centers, to hear the experts in the field, learn from them, form partnerships with them. And apart from that, as I said, I am going to be promoting Sri Lanka through, of course, Singapore Airlines. We just signed up with Singapore Airlines, with Sri Lanka Airways this morning.
Sri Lankan Airlines.
Sri Lanka Airlines. And we are also going to be promoting the hospitals or the wellness centers to directly to Indonesia, Cambodia, and India banks.
So what are the key target markets that our wellness industry should be looking at? Is it within Asia, or is it more?
No, it's beyond
Europe?
Asia. It's beyond Asia, not just Asia. It's beyond Asia. Okay. Now, if you look at Asia, as I said earlier, they do think of every Asian, every little weekend they want to run to Bali. Okay, and as I said, they don't run to Bali for wellness. And I want to tell the world, I mean, to the Singaporeans, or to the Malaysians, or to the Thai, that Colombo is 3.5 hours away only. Bali is 2.5 hours away. And you get much more value, much more better resorts, much more better hotels, and so much more cheaper than what you get in Bali. A decent 5-star hotel in Bali will cost you $300 upwards. One of the best hotels out here will not cost you less than 130 plus taxes. I mean, where is the comparison? You really get value for money. You, as I said, I mean, it's beautiful cities, beautiful resorts. I want to tell the world about it. That's my goal. I want to position. So, a couple of things that I'm doing for Sri Lanka now. Number one, as I said, we have the Sri Lanka Conference and Awards in May. Before that, we have the Global Health Asia Pacific Healthcare Awards, where we are going to bring in a number of Sri Lankan hospitals to participate and hopefully win the glory and come back like Navaloka came back with an award. That would be huge for Sri Lanka to portray themselves as what they really do, what they stand for. Then we will have an award issue that will go to the entire world, who will, and through all the airlines. I mean, Singapore Airlines flies everywhere, Cathay flies everywhere, Emirates flies everywhere, and we are on the e-magazine. So the audience is not Asia, audience is the world. And we would be giving upwards of 20 million eyeballs to all these hospitals, tremendous amount of branding awareness. And in terms of the business, if 0.0001% actually buy those packages or offers, the Sri Lankan hospitals will be laughing all the way to the bank.
So you speak of hospitals, and you also speak of our resorts which offer wellness facilities. Is there a balance here? What should we be actually known for? We're known for Ayurveda.
You should be known pure one word, wellness. Wellness, there's a vacuum in the market. As I told you, Phuket is kind of sleeping now. Bali has got it a little wrong. Here is an absolute window where Sri Lanka could walk in and say, we got a great airline, we got a great country, we got everything, hotels, the best resorts, and the wellness. It's wellness. Hospitals will get some business from the tourists who are coming in. So it's like this. It's like somebody saying, I'm going for a 1 week holiday, I'm taking a resort. And he's saying, well, why I'm here, why don't I go and do my medical checkup? When he goes and does his medical checkup at quarter the cost of anywhere else in the region, I mean, he'll do it simply because the cost is very efficient. Your doctors are brilliant, your foreign written doctors who are here. And he does his medical test screening. When he does the medical screening, unfortunately, the reality is that 3 out of 5 who do a medical checkup, there would be something wrong with them. They would need a specialist or an overnight stay, or there would be something really wrong with them for which they need the treatment. And the reality of this is that unless it's very major for which you need to go back home and decide and take a call, most of the times you're going to get yourself treated before you go back home. You'll extend your trip and you'll spend extra dollars with these hospitals to, get yourself treated. So that's where the hospitals get the dollars. But the real dollars will come into the wellness segment. The wellness would be huge. And when you talk about wellness and when you look at the currency, exchange rate, I mean, sometimes when you divide the currency with your 309 rupiah to a US dollar, you are like, wow, this is ridiculously cheap. And that's where you'll get your revenue. And you don't need to attract the under 25-year-olds, or if 70% people who came in here, they're coming in for a holiday. They're not high spenders. You need to bring in the high spenders.
Well, during our long civil conflict in Sri Lanka, we basically had the low spenders, the backpackers coming in. It was difficult to get the high spenders, but now we are trying to transition from those low spending tourists towards the higher spenders, which of course takes a lot of effort.
Well, I'm a part of that effort, and that's exactly what I'm doing, is to bring in the high spenders into the country here. That's my goal. That's my goal is that by end of the year, Sri Lanka, definitely somewhere somebody will actually get up and say, wow, it is the wellness capital of Asia. And that's what I'm trying to.
The wellness capital of Asia, I like that. It's quite a lovely slogan, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And it has all the ingredients to be that. I'm not saying that as a marketing. I'm saying this as what I genuinely feel. I genuinely feel that Sri Lanka can be that. Because everyone who has come here, they have come here, and I know a lot of friends who have come to Sri Lanka. People who have come for their honeymoons too. I've known these people who have come here, and everybody has a good word for Sri Lanka. Not one human being has said, oh my God, I had a bad experience. No, yeah, nothing great about it. Nobody has said that. Everybody like, it's beautiful, it's awesome. But collectively, you're right. Collectively, this needs to be promoted. Collectively, it's not one hospital or one wellness center promoting itself alone. But you have to, it has to be a very strong government initiative, which is what I'm going to be talking to Dr. Rohanto to maybe meet up with the tourism board and with the authorities who will have a say to collectively push Sri Lanka to be the wellness capital. It has all the ingredients. And once it's done collectively, and you have all the hospitals, all these resorts putting there, and that's one of the reasons I'm doing a special supplement in the magazine, a 24-page special supplement on Sri Lanka wellness resorts.
Now, you have an interesting background. You're originally from Mumbai, or Bombay as they used to call it, and then you moved to Hong Kong. Would you tell us how you actually got into this particular field?
Well, I was always a publishing person. I started my life in 1979, my work life in 79 with Stardust magazine. I joined as a management trainee with Magnum Publishing. And they had Stardust, Society, Savvy, Showtime, Health and Nutrition, Debonair. They had a number of titles. So as a management trainee, I went through writing, I went through distribution of the magazine. And this company also had a cosmetic company. For a few years, I became the general manager of a cosmetic company. And in 91, I was hired by the communication management, which were the publishers of Hong Kong Tatler, Singapore Tatler, Malaysia Tatler, Thailand Tatler, and Hong Kong Restaurant Guide, Singapore Restaurant Guide. So I was with the Tatler group for 5 years. And then I was poached by Business Week, the #1 business magazine in the world. And I was with Business Week from 96 to 2000 and wow, quite a long time. 96 to 2011. I was with Business Week. I was the head of Asia Pacific and EMEA, and all the marketing decisions, all the circulation decisions outside of America were handled by me. So I was very much a publishing guy, and sometime when Business Week shut down their Asia and European editions in 2014, around that time, no, 2007. From 2007 to 2009, for 2 years, I was poached by Merrill Lynch. And I always make a little fun of that. I was hired by Merrill Lynch not knowing anything, the difference between a stock and a share. And they offered me a humongous sign-on bonus and a very decent salary. And I said, but what do you want me to do? I don't know anything about finance. And they said, no, you know the Indian community and you can introduce us to them. And, so I said, so you want an expensive door opener? And 2 years later, I realized that private banking, most of it did not have any values. And I said, no, this is not a place for me. And just about that time, a friend of mine, my senior vice president from New York, flew down to Hong Kong. And he used to be my vice president at Business Week, and he was let go in 2007. And he came down, met me. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm in this banking." And he said, "Leave all of that, Narendra. Let's do something. Let's do something together." So we said, "Okay, let's do something together." This is over a cup of coffee. We finished our coffee. There was a third guy, Mr. Panjwani, he was a travel agent, and he said, "Hey guys, my travel agency business is going down. Everybody's becoming a medical travel agent." And we said, "What does that mean?" We did not even know that concept. But we started Global Health and Travel in 2010, the three of us. That was the birth of Global Health. We were 5 years, definitely 5 years ahead of time and ahead of when medical tourism really started looking up. Medical tourism really started looking up in 2015-16, But I mean, if you go back to the history of medical tourism, it was way back in early 70s when all the Arabs would be coming down to Bombay and occupying every room at Bombay Hospital and Jaslok Hospital. And that's where the medical tourism came, for the Middle East coming into India. And India reaped the benefits of medical tourism quietly for a very, very, very long time. Asia came very late on the medical tourism map.
Interesting indeed. We need to take a short commercial break now. I am with Mr. Narendra Panjwani, who is the founder, publisher of Global Health Asia Pacific magazine. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Yeah, this is the moment. The mic is calling. Season 3 is here. For the zest and the brand new alphas. Hip hop, voice tees back again. Season 3 lighting up the game. Gen Z flow, but the stars who claim all the brand new kids with the alpha flame. Young bloods running in the spotlight lane. Heartbeat pumping like a hurricane. Dream make a life changing frame. Step on the stage, rewrite your name.
Youth power rising, no holding back. Energy attack, rhythm on track. Of a iodine, now where the world gon' react when they bring their voice to the max.
Spotlight
Generation Alpha, the new voice is here.
Scan the QR code. Enter your name, age, address, and phone number. Or simply WhatsApp us at 071 799 7788.
අද මාතෘකාව ආර්ථිකය හා සම්බන්ධයි වැඩි බදු වැඩි සුබ සාධනය නිෂ්පාදකයෝ ඒ ගොල්ලෝ මේ වෙලාවේ බදු ගෙවන්න සූදානම්
රටේ ආර්ථිකය විදේශ ආයෝජකයන්ට විවෘත කරගමු විදේශ ආයෝජන ටික රටක් ඇතුළට ආකර්ෂණය වෙනවා එතනින් විදේශ ආයෝජන ටික කඩා වෙන්නේ නැහැ මේ වැඩි බදුත් එක්ක පුළුවන් රටට විදේශ විනිමය ගේන්න විදේශ ආයෝජන ගේන්න
Sirasa Debater with AAT Sri Lanka.
ඉරිදා සවස් 6ට
In a world of talent, every weekend at 8:30 p.m. on Sirasa TV.
Welcome back to Face to Face. I am with Mr. Narendra Panjwani, who is the founder publisher of Global Health Asia Pacific magazine, and we are talking about the prospects of wellness tourism in Sri Lanka. You mentioned banks earlier, the banking industry, and the tie-in with tourism and particularly wellness tourism. Could you explain a little bit about that?
Yes, our first experiment in this banking segment was with OCBC Indonesia. Prior to that, when you move around and you with all the hospitals, when you meet them, and you'll always see billboards there, you'll see standees which tells you that, you know, if you have H&B card, you will get a 10% discount on your treatment, minus the doctor fees. Every hospital has tried to work with banks locally to drive local patients to them. Okay? But it hasn't been aggressive marketing. It's a very passive marketing. You have that standee there, you have a 10% discount there. You go to the counter, half the time the counter does not know that this promotion exists. They don't know, oh, I see that standee. Okay, I don't know, hold on. Let me check. How will you get a 10%? Ma'am, you know, and it has not worked very successfully for a lot of hospitals. Okay. So we met OCBC and came up with this plan where it is a win-win for everyone. So what we do now, we signed this agreement with OCBC to promote healthcare to their 1.9 million cardholders. And we signed a similar deal with Akleda Bank in Cambodia to promote to their 1.6 million cardholders. It's a beautiful win-win proposition, which is, we go to the hospital, say, okay, you give me some packages. Packages are a way, it's like an entry to the door.
Right.
Packages are something that the hospital will offer you at a very attractive price to basically bring you into the door. Once you're into the door, as I told you, 3 out of 5 people who do their medical checkups, there will be something wrong with them. They will be spending more than what they have signed for. Today, you signed for a medical checkup for $150 with a hospital in Kuala Lumpur. Great, you went there, you spent $150, you already bought the package, you got yourself treated, but there's 100%, as I said, not 100%, I would say, as I said, 3-4 out of 5 would have something wrong, and you will end up spending either for a specialist fee, which is no longer discounted, or you will pay for an overnight stay for observation and assessment, or there's something really wrong with you, for which you will have to then undergo treatment. That would cost you, for which there is no discounts. That was a way to get the patient in. So we went to the hospitals, we said, give us packages. We took these packages. Now I have packages from hospitals in Malaysia, hospitals in Thailand, Singapore, and taking from Indonesia. I've got these packages. I went to OCBC, I said, okay, here guys, I can deliver this 4, 5, 6 countries to you. I'm giving you even Korea and Philippines and Vietnam and Cambodia. I'm giving you all of that. So they said, okay, let's divide it between healthcare packages and aesthetic packages. Fantastic. We will do that. And we got those packages. We give it to them. What they do is they promote these packages to their cardholders.
Right.
That we got this package. It's at 15% discount of a regular price. Please go to now. In this deal, when the cardholder likes a certain package and he wants to go for that package, all he does is to click the link on the package, which is directly to the hospital. Global Health and the bank get no commission. There is no money involved in this entire three-way transaction between the bank, between the hospital, bank, and the consumer. And Global Health facilitating that. There is no monetary. So the consumer buys a package, goes directly. It's a win-win. Hospitals get access to millions of customers that they cannot reach on social media. So they are delighted that they're getting that kind of a branding. And even if 0.0001% of that, of the reach, actually use those, buy those packages, the hospital is laughing all the way to the bank. The consumer is delighted, the cardholder is delighted because he's getting a choice. He can decide whether I want to go to a hospital in Sri Lanka, or I want to go to a hospital in KL when I go on a holiday, or when I go to Bangkok for a holiday, I can go and get my dental done or get my aesthetics done. Or if I want, I can afford it, I have all the money in the world and I want the best, I'm going to go to, for healthcare, I'm going to go to Singapore, or for aesthetics, I'm going to go to Korea. He has the option. So when it comes to aesthetics, he can choose, ideally, he can go to Thailand, Korea, or Vietnam. For healthcare, he can go to Singapore, Thailand, and of course, Malaysia. And if you want local for us, when we do anything with the local bank here, you also have an option to go to the local bank over here. And which is what we also trying to work with. We are working on with two banks. We won't know who will finalize. But we are working on with those banks to get local packages. So a person sitting in Bombay or Delhi can decide whether he wants to go to Fortis or Medanta, or he wants to go to Dhirubhai Ambani Hospital in Bombay, or he wants to go to Gleneagles in Kuala Lumpur, or he wants to go to Bumrungrad in Thailand. Depends on him. And particularly, this packages work very well for the aesthetic industry, is because and I know most of the women would go out of the country, go and do all their, aesthetics, come back to the country, and nobody knows that they went for any aesthetic treatment at all. So this is a brilliant partnership that we have with the banks. And I had a meeting today with HNB, and we are looking at HNB being our partners in Sri Lanka.
Right. Now, what about certifications and standards, which, when you have any kind of industry mushrooming, you need to maintain certain standards. Do we in Sri Lanka have those standards where wellness tourism is concerned? Should we be looking at it and focusing on this a little bit?
Completely agree with you that there should be some kind of a certification that would tell the consumer that, you know what, I'm going to a certified clinic and I'm going to get the best treatment here. Definitely important. But currently, as far as the big players are concerned, hospitals are concerned, there are only two certifications, JCI, ACHS, Australia. Extremely expensive for a mid-range hospital or for a wellness resort. Okay? They can't afford to go for JCI.
Right.
No way. Okay? We were also partnering with ACHS, Global Health, but again, they were not cheap. Okay? But then the bigger player, the bigger chains, like even in Indonesia, I thought Indonesia, nobody can afford it, but then I see a lot of Indonesian hospitals are JCI certified. They will spend the money to get that JCI certification. Personally, if I'm a consumer, if you tell me that you are a JCI certified, what do I know about JCI? So what? You are JCI. Who are you? What are you? What is JCI? What difference does it make to me as a consumer? Now, you went for an JCI, you went for ACHS. I mean, definitely great certification bodies, okay? But they're very known or very, they get a lot of recognition among their own peers.
Right.
Okay? And if they do advertise to the consumers and educate the consumers that go to an accredited hospital, that's brilliant. If you have a JCI and ACHS, you are quality. No two things about it. The certification is of the highest standards. The process can last from 6 months to 1 year for you to even, once you embark on a certification, to get that certificate. It could take you an year and a lot of money. But it's so totally worth it. But when it comes to the wellness centers, when it comes to mid-range hospitals or medical centers, they can't afford the big boys. There definitely needs to be some kind of a certification, and that would do really two things. That tell you that our staff is trained. Training is an extremely important aspect, because as the industry grows, the turnover of manpower turnover is going to be huge. Today you are working in one particular hospital, you get another $500 another place, you are going to jump. And then the hospital, when they are recruiting new talent, they need to be trained. So training, I think, is something that should be looked into in Sri Lanka.
Right.
And with training comes that certification. So it could be a certificate saying that our staff is trained to all standards, or something to that effect. I'll look into that, and I think it's something that is interesting. We wanted to do something like that in Vietnam and Indonesia, but we never got started on that. But it definitely is a niche. It definitely is a vacuum that does exist, and I think it's important. And even governments like Cambodia is trying to now implement that. As a clinic, if when you go in for your renewal certificate, you need to be accredited by somebody. So they're making it almost mandatory now that you need to have some kind of accreditation. I think it's a very important aspect of making sure that the fly-by-night operators are kept away, and there is that believability, there is that standards that these clinics will follow.
Right. Now, you mentioned that we should be looking beyond Asia. Any particular areas? Are you talking about Europe mainly?
I'm talking about Europe mainly. Europeans love the wellness aspect. So I definitely am talking about Europe. So in some of the biggest resorts, wellness resorts are in Europe. I mean, whether you look around France or Switzerland, I mean, they're there and they're expensive. And when it comes to a holiday, they love coming down to Asia. And when they come down to Asia, I would drive them to Sri Lanka.
Interesting.
Middle East is another interesting market that Sri Lanka could be, because Emirates flies direct here.
Right.
You know, and Emirates is not flying direct here to take Sri Lankans away. It is bringing the Middle Easterns over here. And it also becomes a kind of a conduit for the Europeans to come into Sri Lanka. Instead of a direct flight, they use Emirates and come here. So Emirates is playing a big role in medical tourism.
Right. Now, I think so far, wellness tourism in Sri Lanka has been promoted mainly on an individual company basis.
Exactly.
What's the model that you think we should move towards?
As I said right in the start, as I said that it is important that the tourism industry The government should take an initiative to promote wellness as an industry that they want to focus on. There is so much of stamina there. And again, our May event that we are doing, and we are bringing in the best wellness centers and the best hospitals, we will be promoting all of them. And that is basically going collectively and saying that here we don't have one resort or one individual resort who are spending their money all through the year. We have more than one. We have 30 top or, high quality resorts in the country.
Interesting indeed. And we are almost out of time, but any particular final words of advice that you would give our wellness operators and indeed Sri Lanka tourism and all our associations as well?
Short of sounding a salesman, I would strongly advocate that exposure the wellness resorts or the hospitals need outside of Sri Lanka. It's very important to be seen and known around. Today, when you look at if you're looking at an example to copy, look at Malaysia. The MHTC, there is one body called MHTC. That body represents all the hospitals and all the medical centers, all of healthcare, and promotes and takes them into different countries. What you need to also do is to take part in expos, in certain markets where you, like for example, there's something in Malaysia or something in Singapore, collectively have a Sri Lanka expo.
Right.
That would be brilliant to showcase what Sri Lanka is. And, it's not just hospital or wellness, it's everything.
Sri Lanka as a whole.
Yeah, Sri Lanka as a whole. One is expo, as I said. Second is the government taking an initiative to promote wellness as the key driver of the tourism dollars. And of course, as I said, we will be playing a very important role, an active role, to promote Sri Lanka as the wellness destination of Asia.
Right. And on that note, I'm afraid we are out of time. My thanks to Mr. Narendra Panjwani, founder publisher of Global Health Asia Pacific magazine. It was a pleasure having you on the show.
It was absolutely my pleasure, and I'm very happy to have been on the show and express my views. And I am looking forward to working with Sri Lanka, the government, the private sector, and the wellness resorts and the hospitals to showcase Sri Lanka to the world. And I'm hoping that I will achieve that aim within this year.
And thank you to you at home for watching. Don't go away because the news is coming up next. Have a great evening.